Hey guys, it's Hannah from Bookwormstalk, and this is Right About Now Poetry, and today I'm going to give a little mini review of Down with the Ship by Tom Leveille. So first I'm going to give a short little blurb of my thoughts, and then I'm going to give a bio of the poet. I keep wanting to say author, but poet. This chapbook just feels so eloquently written in this brilliantly casual way. Like, it feels like things you felt before, but you couldn't quite put your finger on what you were feeling. It kind of reminds me of the smell of chlorine when it hits the back of your nose, how you feel the water in your head from not protecting your face when you dove in. It feels like a memoir. It feels like something that's true. It feels like, yeah, a memoir I think is the best way I can describe this. But now that I've kind of given my thoughts, I do want to give you a bio of the author, which is very conveniently placed in the back of this book. Tom Leveille is a 29-year-old non-binary spoken word artist hailing from Newport News, Virginia, born and raised. Leveille studied at Old Dominion University, I think I said that right, but did not throw a hat into the poetry scene until very recently. They discovered the world of poetry and spoken word through Twitter. Tom operates the legendary Avalanche, I believe is how you pronounce it. I'll have it all right here for you, which you should check out. Avalanche account, which since August 2014 has exploded to over 55,000 followers and growing. They are also active in the community as a staunch member of Slam Richardson, leading writing workshops and co-hosting the weekly Slam open mic. A Richardson Slam champion, a Writer's Den Slam champion, College Union's Poetry Slam Invitational, that's what that meant, Invitational 2015 Sacrificial Poet, Southern Fried 2016 competitor, and Texas Grand Slam 2016 competitor. Tom has, in addition to this collection, published a chapbook through the Impossible Wings Press entitled The Year No One Said Hallelujah. Their work has been featured in various places including altdaily.com, samuelj.co.uk, and the Pulp Vine. Recently branching into a touring poet, Leveille is slated to perform at over a dozen colleges and slams across the Atlantic seaboard in the spring of 2016, with another tour spanning the entirety of the South from Virginia to Arizona and back. So, crazy successful, very talented. I read Tom's work on Twitter before I got my hands on this chapbook, and I instantly fell in love with their work. And before I really get into this, I do want to tell you that you can purchase this book. I will have a direct buy link where you can get it down there in the description box. I will also have the poet's social media and all of their information down in the description box. Please go down there, follow Tom, especially on Twitter, because I live for their Twitter. Like, I really do. I really held this high on the totem pole going into it, and I was not disappointed. I'm actually going to list through some of my favorites. They are not titled with like titles, they're titled with like numbers and like a chapter style. I'm just gonna list off some of my favorites and then read little bits and bobs from each of the poems. I feel like that is the best way to really showcase Tom's poetry, would be to give examples. That's how I roll with the poetry reviews. So my favorites are 1, 5, 12, 24, 26, and 50. And the first one, I mean, it was the first poem in its entirety, like short of Twitter 140 character thing that I read. And I loved mostly the little homage to The Neverending Story, which was one of my all-time childhood favorite movies. It's still one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. I can watch it so many times, and it spoke volumes beyond just the words of it because I was so familiar with that reference. Anyway, I think it's such a classic. So I'm gonna go ahead and read just the entirety of this poem because I want you to experience the first bit like I experienced the first bit, and it hit you good. It hit you good. How does it happen? The seeds you sow, the growing shadow in the room when you're trying to sleep, the kind of nightmares that listen for laughter, that ask for cigarettes on numbered streets, the way you don't want to think about someone chiseling whatever into your tombstone. A life once led where priests might deny you burial on holy ground, the past tense of smite. An obituary filled with all the fights you lost, your bedroom turned to battling cage, how you went out swinging. The men in your dreams with fists made of lead, the kind that could make an impression on anyone. The allegory of something French I might butcher and I apologize for. The allegory of Jadot, a continuing contribution to the legitimacy of your adjournment. The chess is called Zun Wang. Everything spiraling forward when you wish you could stand still. You're Atreyu in the swamps saying, Artex, you have to fight the sadness. You never imagined yourself always in checkmate from being blocked by your own pieces. Isn't it good? I told you so! I do want to quickly mention that the majority of the poems are full-length pages. They're not little short, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Short lyrics, I think is the phrase. But I'm gonna skip through 5 because that's more of a story one. Takes up a full good long page, and I feel like just breaking it up into pieces wouldn't give the full effect. So I'm going to move on to 12, which is a shorter one. How did it come to this? Maybe she died and drifted from town to town. Maybe she took the keys to your Toyota and you decided you never liked that car anyway. It doesn't matter anymore. You miss her, but you can't describe anything about her to the sketch artist. You go to speak and moths fly out of your mouth, just like in the cartoons. You want to say she looks like the same snowflake fell twice, like that scene from The Butterfly Effect where Evan tells Kaylee, "You were happy once, with me." You start asking yourself questions that make you sick to the stomach. This little blurb at the very beginning of this one, this is from 24, it gives me the inspiration tingles. That sounds so bizarre, but like there's just this little thing at the beginning that is so inspiring, and it makes me picture it all. It makes me see the story, and it's like a movie unfolding. Just with this short little sentence, I'm gonna read it to you. None of this makes any sense. You just want people to understand when you say, "The hill I chose to die on had green eyes." That at dusk you spend all your time cramming light bulbs into your mouth trying to keep the sun awake. It's just so eviscerating. I think that's the best word I could use. The words are so carefully chosen and so powerful in their delivery. Oh, I would love to hear these live. And I do want to mention before moving on to the rest of the poems, 24 is definitely my favorite of the entire bunch, but again, it's one that takes up an entire page and I don't want to, read everything, but that one is definitely my favorite one to look at. So if you own this book or you plan on purchasing it, please give that one a really good thorough read. I mean, all of them deserve that, but give it an extra special thorough read because there's just something really, really special about that one. Now, 26 is another one that is just completely brilliant. It sparks a thought, it sparks an image, and I just want to share this little pace from it. It's hard, opening your mouth without saying something like, "Wish you were here," or "Since you left, everything has been covered in knives." This whole chapbook is just so beautifully and eloquently written, and it just feels like a memoir. I just feel like I know. I feel like I've been there with certain poems. I feel like that's what's so amazing about poetry, being able to find, the hair in my eye would be really nice if I could find that actually, but being able to find common ground, to know that you're not the only person in the world that has felt a certain way. There's some kind of comfort in knowing that you're not the only speck on this planet filled with so many other specks that have felt a certain way. You're not alone. I think that's what's so beautiful about poetry, that people are so open with telling how they felt or how they feel, and I just find it to be very honest, to the point of it feeling so raw and finding camaraderie in that. I hope that made sense. This is coming from an observer of poetry. I just found this particular book to be very special, and I highly recommend purchasing it. And like I said before, I will have buy links in the description bar where you can go and purchase this book. Highly recommend it. I hope to see you guys later next time.